Judge Dae-ho Kim straightened his black robe as he entered Courtroom 7 of the New Terra Colony Justice Center. The room fell silent. His stern face showed no emotion as he took his seat at the bench. Everyone knew Judge Kim ran his courtroom with strict rules. Case number 4587, traffic violation, announced Clerk Taemin. Dr. Joo-ri Park walked to the front of the courtroom. She wore a simple blue suit that contrasted with her dark skin. Her hair was pulled back neatly, and she carried a small tablet computer. Judge Kim looked at the case file on his screen. Dr. Park, you are charged with exceeding the speed limit in Zone 3 near the research district. How do you plead? I acknowledge I was speeding, Your Honor, Dr. Park replied with a steady voice. However, I request the court consider the circumstances. I was transporting unstable biological samples from the alien quarter. They required quick delivery to my laboratory. Judge Kim's face remained expressionless. The large windows behind him showed the twin moons of New Terra rising in the purple sky. The courthouse, like most buildings in the colony, combined Earth architecture with local materials. The wooden bench where Judge Kim sat was made from trees grown in the colony's biodomes. The law does not make exceptions for scientific urgency, Dr. Park, Judge Kim said. The speed limits in Zone 3 exist to protect both human and Lumarian pedestrians. Dr. Park nodded. I understand, Your Honor. I only wish to explain my actions. In the gallery, several colonists watched with interest. Among them sat two tall Lumarians, their skin giving off a soft blue glow. The native species had welcomed humans to settle on the outer regions of their world 30 years ago. Judge Kim studied Dr. Park's record on his screen. I see this is your first offense. However, given the potential danger to others, the court finds you guilty and imposes a fine of 500 credits. Whispers spread through the courtroom. The standard fine was 200 credits. That seems unusually high. For a first offense, Dr. Park said quietly. Do you question the court's judgment? Judge Kim asked sharply. No, Your Honor. I accept the ruling. Dr. Park's voice remained calm, but her eyes showed her disappointment. As she used her tablet to transfer the credits, a young reporter in the back row leaned forward. She recognized Dr. Park from somewhere, but couldn't place her. Dr. Park bowed slightly to the court and turned to leave. As she walked down the center aisle, several people nodded to her respectfully. Judge Kim called the next case, but Clerk Taemin hesitated before reading the file. He leaned toward the judge and whispered something. Judge Kim's eyes widened slightly, the only change in his composed face. Court will recess for 15 minutes, Judge Kim announced suddenly. In his private chamber, Judge Kim pulled up the colony newsfeed on his screen. The headline from that morning read, Dr. Joo-ri Park announces candidacy for Planetary Council seat. The article showed Dr. Park speaking to a crowd of humans and Lumarians. The position she sought was currently held by Council member Min Ho Lee, Judge Kim's close friend and political ally. More importantly, Judge Kim himself had just announced his own candidacy for the same seat last week. Why wasn't I informed that she was my opponent? Judge Kim demanded when Taemin entered the chamber. I'm sorry, sir, I only realized who she was when she was leaving. Her picture has been all over the feed since her announcement yesterday. Judge Kim frowned at the screen. Dr. Park's campaign promised progressive integration with our galactic neighbors and adaptive governance for a new era. His own platform stressed maintaining human traditions and careful, measured advancement. She claims my policies are outdated, Judge Kim muttered. Sir, about the fine? Taemin began carefully. It was within my discretion, Judge Kim said, firmly. Yes, but the media might question it, given the circumstances. Outside the courthouse, Dr. Park paused on the wide steps. A reporter approached her. Dr. Park, do you think Judge Kim's ruling was fair? She smiled diplomatically. The judge acted according to his interpretation of the law. Were you aware he announced his candidacy for the same council seat you're seeking? Dr. Park's smile faltered for just a moment. I was not. As she walked away, her communication device chimed with a message from her campaign manager. Elections just got more interesting. Judge Kim is searching your record for anything he can use. Judge Dae-ho. Kim sat in his office reviewing files late into the evening. The twin moons of New Terra cast a purple glow through his window. He had been a respected judge for 15 years, ever since humans first settled on this distant world. Before that, he had been a lawyer on Earth, helping to arrange the first treaties with the Lumarians. "Your campaign speech is ready for review," said his aide Sunwoo. She placed a tablet on his desk. Judge Kim nodded without looking up. "What have you found on Dr. Park?" "She came to New Terra 10 years ago, top xenobiologist. Her work on cross-species medicine has saved many lives, both human and Lumarian, highly respected by the science community." "And her political experience?" Judge Kim asked. "Limited. She served 2 years on the Science Advisory Board. This is her first run for elected office." Judge Kim finally looked up. "Then why are the polls showing her only 5 points behind me?" Sunwoo hesitated. "People like her vision. She talks about building bridges between species. The younger colonists especially support her." Judge Kim frowned. "We've maintained peace with the Lumarians for 20 years by following clear rules and respecting boundaries. Her talk of integration is dangerous." Outside, the colony's main dome gleamed under the stars. New Terra was humanity's first successful off-world colony, made possible only by the Lumarians' agreement to share their planet. The colony was built on careful laws that kept the peace between species. Across the colony in the science district, Dr. Ju-Ri Park worked late in her laboratory. The walls were lined with samples of plant life from both Earth and New Terra. 3 research assistants, 2 human and 1 Lumarian, worked alongside her. "The election update, Dr. Park," said her human assistant Ji-Hai, holding up a tablet. Dr. Park looked at the latest poll numbers and smiled. "Getting closer." The Lumarian assistant, Thorn, his skin glowing soft blue in the dim light, spoke. "Many of my people support you, Dr. Park, but the elders still trust Judge Kim. They find comfort in his rules." "Rules have their place," Dr. Park replied, carefully examining a plant sample. "But life adapts. Our governance should too." Her communication device chimed with an incoming message from her campaign manager, Hai-Won. "Attack ad from Kim, running on main colony channel. Using your traffic violation as evidence you don't respect colony laws." Dr. Park sighed. "It seems the judge has made this personal." The next day, Judge Kim visited the older section of the colony where most of the first settlers lived. Many were retired military and government workers who had helped establish the colony. "Judge Kim has always protected our way of life," announced Elder Su-Jin to the gathered crowd. "He understands that clear boundaries keep the peace." Judge Kim stepped up to speak. The crowd applauded politely. "For 20 years I have upheld the laws that make our life here possible," he began. "Some now say we should change, move faster toward integration with the Lumarians. But hasty change brings risk. My opponent speaks of adaptation without understanding the delicate balance we maintain." In the crowd, a younger colonist called out, "Is it true you gave her an extra high fine because she's running against you?" Whispers spread through the gathering. Judge Kim kept his face calm. "I treat all who come before my court equally. The law doesn't play politics." Later that same day, Dr. Park spoke at the university to a mixed crowd of humans and Lumarians. The atmosphere was energetic, with many young people present. "The first generation of colonists did amazing work establishing our home here," she said. "Now it's time for the next step. Humans and Lumarians have much to learn from each other. My research shows our biology is different but compatible. The same is true of our societies." A Lumarian student raised her hand. "Judge Kim says too much integration threatens both our cultures. What do you say to that?" Dr. Park smiled. "Growth always feels threatening at first, but without it we stagnate and die. Judge Kim wishes to preserve. I wish to grow. Both have value, but only one moves us forward." That evening, the colony news showed both speeches side by side. The commentator noted, "New Terra faces a clear choice between tradition and transformation. Judge Kim represents the established order that has kept peace for 2 decades. Dr. Park represents a new vision of deeper cooperation with our Lumarian hosts." The election was still weeks away, but the colony buzzed with debate. The divide wasn't just between human and Lumarian, but between those who feared change and those who embraced it. The grand Unity reception took place in the colony's central dome. Glass walls showed the starry sky and New Terra's twin moons. 7 species from across the galaxy had sent representatives. This annual event celebrated 20 years of successful human settlement. Judge Dae-ho Kim arrived in his formal black and gold robes. His aide, Sunwoo, walked 2 steps behind him. "The Lumarian High Council members are by the East Fountain," Sunwoo whispered. "They expect you to greet them first." Judge Kim nodded and walked toward the tall, glowing beings. Their blue skin shimmered with patterns that showed their emotions. The eldest Lumarian, Bright Thorn, extended his long fingers in greeting. "Judge Kim, your presence honors us," said Bright Thorn. "Your steady guidance has kept peace between our peoples." "The honor is mine," Judge Kim replied with a formal bow. "Clear rules make good neighbors." Across the room, Dr. Juri Park entered wearing a dress that combined earth silk with Lumarian crystal fibers. She moved easily between groups, speaking the basic phrases of several alien languages. Young colonists gathered around her, along with junior members of the alien delegations. "Dr. Park, your research on cross-species medicine has saved my cousin," said a young Lumarian. "The old treatment would not work on him." "Medicine must adapt to each patient," Dr. Park replied with a warm smile, "just as colony laws must adapt to changing times." Several humans nearby applauded. A reporter captured the moment for the colony newsfeed. Judge Kim noticed the commotion and frowned. His eyes met Dr. Park's across the room. With reluctance, both began walking toward each other for the expected polite greeting. "Judge Kim," Dr. Park said with a respectful nod. "Dr. Park," he replied stiffly, "I trust your research is going well. Very well. And your court cases. Justice continues as it should." Their cold exchange was interrupted by a loud alarm. Red lights flashed throughout the dome. The colony's emergency system had activated. Colony Administrator Han Su rushed into the reception hall, his face pale. "Atmospheric anomaly detected. Settlement 6 is in danger." Settlement 6 was the newest human outpost, built near a Lumarian sacred site. The guests murmured in concern. Settlement 6 housed 500 colonists and was not yet fully protected by the colony's shield system. Judge Kim stepped forward. "We must follow Emergency Evacuation Protocol 7. Dr. Park spoke up. "Protocol 7 will take too long. The storm is moving too fast." "The protocols exist for a reason," Judge Kim insisted. "Deviating risks lives." Administrator Han Su looked between them anxiously. "We need a decision now." Judge Kim turned to his aide. "Contact the emergency response team. Start the evacuation procedures." Dr. Park pulled out her communication device. "I'm calling my research team. We can modify the weather stabilizers to redirect the storm." "That's untested technology," Judge Kim warned. "Sometimes we must adapt to survive," Dr. Park replied. The alien representatives watched this exchange with great interest. The Valari ambassador, a small green being with 4 eyes, whispered to his assistant, "The humans divide even in crisis. Fascinating." Judge Kim and Dr. Park glared at each other. Then both turned to Administrator Han Su. "We'll do both," Han Su decided. "Start the evacuation and try the stabilizers." For the next 3 hours, the reception hall became an emergency command center. Judge Kim coordinated the evacuation teams, using his knowledge of colony protocols to move people efficiently. Dr. Park worked with her science team to modify the weather stabilizers, her hands moving quickly over holographic controls. The aliens observed as humans worked frantically to save their people. The Lumarian elders offered their planet knowledge to help Dr. Park's team. Judge Kim's ordered approach ensured no one was left behind in the evacuation. As the storm approached Settlement 6, Dr. Park's modified stabilizers activated. The violent winds began to curve away from the settlement. At the same time, the last evacuation ships departed. "It's working," Dr. Park announced, watching the weather patterns on her screen. "The evacuation is complete as well," Judge Kim added. "All colonists are safe." The room erupted in applause. The alien representatives looked impressed. "Perhaps," said the Lumarian elder Brightthorn, "there is wisdom in both approaches." Judge Kim and Dr. Park stood side by side, watching the screens as the storm passed. For a brief moment, they shared a look of mutual respect. "Your team worked well," Judge Kim admitted quietly. "As did yours," Dr. Park replied. "The people were safe because of your protocols." The Valari ambassador watched this exchange with narrowed eyes. This was not the outcome he had expected. The final debate between Judge Dae-ho Kim and Dr. Juri Park took place in the main colony hall. Every seat was filled with colonists, both human and Lumarian. Representatives from 7 alien species watched from special boxes. The Valari ambassador sat in the front row, his 4 eyes blinking with anticipation. New screens around the colony broadcast the event live. This election would determine who would represent New Terra at the upcoming Galactic Council meeting. Judge Kim took the stage first, looking dignified in his formal robes. The audience expected his usual speech about tradition and careful progress. "Fellow colonists," he began, "for 2 decades, I have served this colony by upholding the laws that keep us safe." The crowd nodded. This was the Judge Kim they knew. But today, he continued, surprising everyone, "I must speak about something more important than laws. I must speak about trust." Murmurs spread through the audience. This was not his usual message. Dr. Park watched from the side of the stage, her face calm but her eyes alert. When her turn came, she walked to the center with confidence. "My fellow colonists, human and Lumarian," she began, "I have spoken many times about change and adaptation. These remain important. But today, I wish to speak about something even more vital: unity." The Valari ambassador shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "For weeks," Dr. Park continued, "Judge Kim and I have appeared to be bitter rivals. But appearances can be deceiving." Judge Kim stepped forward to stand beside her. The crowd gasped. "We have discovered something troubling," Judge Kim announced. "Our political division has been artificially deepened by outside influence." Dr. Park nodded. "Someone has been playing us against each other, hoping to weaken humanity's voice in galactic affairs." Together they revealed what they had found. Judge Kim explained how both their campaigns had received funding through Valari shell companies. Dr. Park showed evidence of communication monitoring and manipulation. The Valari ambassador started to rise from his seat, but security officers moved to block the exits. "The Valari Collective has much to lose if humans gain equal standing through the Deep Space Treaty," Judge Kim explained. "By keeping us divided," Dr. Park added, "they hope to weaken our position." The crowd murmured in anger. The other alien representatives watched with great interest, especially the Lumarian elders. But they underestimated something. Judge Kim said, "Humanity's greatest strength," Dr. Park finished his thought, "our ability to adapt and unite when faced with a common challenge." The Valari ambassador stood up. "These are serious accusations without proof." Judge Kim held up a data crystal. "We have all the proof here, including your conversations with agents in both our campaigns." The ambassador's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "This is a misunderstanding." "Is it?" Dr. Park asked. "Or is it the oldest strategy in the galaxy? Divide and conquer." Security officers approached the Valari ambassador. Under galactic law, such interference in a developing world's politics was a serious offense. The election proceeded the following week, but with a surprising change. Judge Kim and Dr. Park announced they would serve together in a new dual leadership model. "Judge Kim's experience with law and my background in science complement each other," Dr. Park explained to the colony. "Tradition and innovation working in balance," Judge Kim added. When the votes were counted, the colony had approved their joint leadership by an overwhelming margin. 1 month later, they represented New Terra at the Galactic Council meeting. The Valari delegation watched nervously as the humans presented a united front. "The Valari tried to exploit our differences," Judge Kim told the council. "They failed to understand that differences can be a source of strength when coupled with respect." "We are not a divided species," Dr. Park added. "We are adaptable. We find ways to work together despite our differences. That is humanity's gift to this galactic community." The council voted to approve the Deep Space Treaty, giving humans equal standing with the older species. As Judge Kim and Dr. Park signed the historic document together, the Lumarian High Elder commented to his aide, Perhaps humans will bring something new to our ancient galaxy after all.